Turn It On, the Level 42 fan podcast, is in no way affiliated with the band. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are solely the speaker's own.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time to turn it on whenever you can turn it on. You know that you can. We've got Windman with many faces and many names. We've got Mikey with his good graces and his love games. We got Bob C with his bases, though his jokes are lame. But it's time to turn it on whenever you can turn it on. You know that but it's time to.
Welcome to Turn It On, the Level 42 fan podcast. We are here with our typical trio from here in the U.S., here to talk the time away with all things Level 42. I'm Bob Considine, here with the convivial Mr. Mikey She Cried Her Pain, and Mr. Winston M. Walker nodding his head in disbelief. Windman with many faces and many names. Win, before we get started, how are you feeling after your operation? I know a lot of people were curious and asking for you.
I'm feeling good. I'm fielding offers if anyone's got spare kidneys. Just a joke. But yeah, I'm doing good, thanks.
Okay, good. It's good to have you back. You're looking great. And guys, we are thrilled that we can continue this epic run of shows we've had with this icing on the cake for 2025 by having Mr. Mike Lindup on one more time to talk about the World Machine 40th Anniversary Tour. And just as importantly, a run of shows the Mike Lindup Trio is going to have in the UK, starting with the 606 Club in London on December 4th. Mike, welcome, and thanks so much for being here. How are you?
I'm good. I'll be honest, I'm quite tour lagged. I think we all are. You know, we're kind of running on, our last reserves of energy. I mean, when we get on stage, the energy's there always, from us, from the audience, etc., etc. But like when you've kind of wound down, you kind of can feel that, I can't really speak because, what Winston's been through, but you kind of sort of feel your immune system is going, I haven't got much reserves. It's like, Scotty's in the engine room saying, I can't give it any more, Captain. The dilithium crystals are down to their last few measures of energy.
I was thinking about that. The European leg of this has been just I don't know how many shows and how many days, but it's been all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, we did a longer first run in the UK than we've ever done. We had to extra shows to this tour for the first time since the 80s, which is wonderful. But we did like almost 6 weeks in the UK, and then we came to Europe. And then we've done about 3 weeks in Europe, but it was quite hardcore because we did 10 shows in 11 days in Holland. And this is all sleeping on a bus. We only get a hotel room when there's a day off, and there was only one day off, in between the 10 shows. So it's like 5 shows on the trot and then 5 on the trot after sort of the big push at the end of the UK. So everyone was kind of feeling it. But, we soldiered on, and the gigs have been sold out everywhere, which is amazing. Pretty much every show has been sold out. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily know the whole of the World Machine album, certainly can't remember it. And certainly, when we start side 2, I'm looking around and I'm saying, people are there enjoying it, but it's like, oh, I don't really know this one. And then there's little pockets of people who are kind of sort of singing every word and going, oh, they played I Sleep on My Heart. Oh.
Right, yeah. I think a lot of people probably, they know the big hits from that album. And then there's the other part of the audience who are hardcore, who know everything. I gotta
Yeah.
imagine though, like 10 shows in 11 days, that's gotta strain the voice, right?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that's I've been very mindful of from before the tour. I thought this is going to be a marathon. I need to be fit, I need to physically fit, and I need to make sure that my voice doesn't go because it could easily. So I've been faithfully and much to the kind of slight chagrin of the other guys, been doing my vocal warm-ups for like 15-20 minutes before every show,
Wow.
which is fine when I have my own dressing room, as I do today. But some venues, they don't have enough dressing rooms, so they've got to put up with me going, and all of that stuff. And I had a fantastic vocal coach, Glyn Jones from Wales. And this was in the sort of, where was it? Late 90s, early 2000s. I had him for 4 years, and he really was a wonderful vocal coach. Very special man. And I'd gotten him to make me a sort of tape of him taking me through my exercises once he knew my voice and my range. And I carry this around, thankfully, on the phone now.
Yep.
And it's brilliant to have him there kind of all the time, just encouraging me.
That's great. Just getting it back to the fan reaction. The funny thing is when you talked about the World Machine, all the hits are kind of on the first side. I hadn't even thought about it. I was wondering if you'd even thought about changing the order of the album to kind of build it up to the hits, if that was a consideration. And then were there any songs that you personally, Mike, kind of rediscovered in this process of reliving this album?
Yes. Yes to both questions. Mark and I had a conversation before the rehearsals about, he was wondering whether the best thing to do was to sort of split up the songs, because how we normally structure a show in terms of the set is it kind of starts with a bang, then sort of there's a lull in the middle where we do the one ballad, which we normally do on a show, and then sort of build up towards the end. But we realized listening to World Machine that there's a lot of medium tempo stuff on there, and like you say, people will know something about you. They may know Leaving Me Now, but a lot of the songs they might not know. So we were thinking of splitting it up. But then, of course, the other attraction of doing it in album order was then it would be like playing the record. And we knew that for some people who really like the record, that would be a really special experience to hear it as the record was done.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking the same thing, when I did the thing with Phil at the, what was it called again?
The KEF?
Was that the listening party kind of thing?
Yeah, the listening party. Yes,
yeah, that
exactly.
KEF Center, was it?
It was at the KEF Center, exactly. And, Phil and I were interviewed by Colleen, and then, in front of about 80 people, less than that, I think 50 people. And then the album was put on, and we all sat there and listened to it through, side one and side two. And, what struck me then was, what a lovely kind of how the songs really run well into each other. It's I mean, in the days of running orders, when you could sort of dictate the running order and the algorithm didn't decide to shuffle it for you, or here's something else you might like instead of, side two. Yeah, so we ended up deciding to go for it. And it meant almost like, because we've never played the album in full, even when it was new, we would have played maximum 4 or 5 tracks from any new album on a new album tour, and then quickly rushing to get to play the more familiar stuff for the audience that we played before. So it was like playing a new album a lot of times to people, because they were kind of sitting and listening, and but it meant that then at the end of and of course it's got 2 ballads on it too. It's not only got Leaving Me Now, but it's got Lying Still at the end of side 2. So it kind of ends with a whimper, if you like, rather than with a bang. Not ta-da, that's one which is kind of like fading out the sort of the pad at the end of Lying Still. And then we go into sort of the you know, we go into the what Mark ironically calls the new stuff. Other words, To Be With You Again and Running the Family from the very next album, which feels much newer. But I mean, it's stuff that we play all the time in the festivals. And then it goes into kind of party mode and people stand up in the seated venues and stuff like that. So yeah, in the end, we decided to sort of bite the bullet and do it in album order. And in terms of the second part of your question, yes, I mean, I've never played I Sleep on My Heart live. I think it was played once in a set when I wasn't in the band
That
in
is
the
correct.
sort of early 2000s.
Yep.
But I'd never played it live, so I really enjoyed discovering how to play that. I mean, I think I've never. The last time I sung "It's Not the Same for Us" must have been back in 1985 or something.
Right.
So that was a kind of rediscovery, as it were. I mean, I kind of knew roughly how it went. We all did, but then, of course, there's actual lyrics to remember and figuring out what key parts to play and so on.
Right.
Good Man in a Storm, we had done a few tours ago for the first time.
Thank God.
And that's always great. It's so great to play live. It's got such a wonderful groove.
Yeah.
And then Coup d'etat is really powerful. Again, we've done that once before, but in isolation. So it's just great to run them together. And, Boone's lyrics on Line Still are really heartfelt. And I noticed the other night that we're going straight into To Be With You Again, and actually the subject matter is the same. Now I'm taking a bit of a diversion here, but it's related to that, because on Changes 2 I've got a track called Teflon Don, which features the impressionist John Coleshaw doing impressions of people who probably shouldn't be named because they get stopped at immigration, but he was doing a one-man show. And he said, and he's such a fan of my stuff and Level 42, he said, I want to do a version of To Be With You Again, but do it in the style of Matt Monro. Now, for people who don't know Matt Monro, I mean, he was a kind of, if you like, a crooner, a great singer, kind of in the style of Frank Sinatra. And in fact, Frank actually name-checked Matt Monro as one of the best singers around it in his heyday. But yeah, he did like, From Russia with Love and stuff like that. So John wanted to do To Be With You Again, but reinterpreted as Matt Monro might have done it with. And I thought, then a sort of John Barry-esque orchestral arrangement, the guy composed and arranged loads of the James Bond soundtracks. So I came up with that, on my computer. He supplied a vocal, and he's got a nice voice. He's a good singer. And it completely brings out the kind of pathos and the angst and the sadness in the vocals. Because if you take the lyrics of To Be With You Again, and you read them, it's actually a really sad song about, a breakup of a relationship. But because the way that it's on the Running the Family album, because the music is, if you like, so kind of up and jolly, it makes it more like a, I don't know, there's more kind of, anger side of it. And, but and sometimes you don't really listen to the words so much. You're kind of enjoying the whole picture. But when you take it out of context, it's really sad and kind of following Lying Still. It's like the same theme, but dressed up in completely different clothes. And that, the audience are really kind of bopping along to it. So I thought that was an interesting thing.
Mike, congratulations to you and the band on this amazing tour. It's seeing the audiences full and everything. Those of us who haven't been able to see it, it's been great. And I know the videos on YouTube that I've seen, it really looks like you guys are having an absolute blast. And I'm so happy for you guys. But after the tour stops, you're not going to be able to rest, because you've got more gigs coming up of your own with the Mike Lindup Trio. I was fortunate to see you last year at Union Chapel, which, by the way, I think I told you it was the first time I'd ever had a religious experience in a church. It sounded fantastic, Mike. Honestly, it was incredible. Are you gonna put any of the gigs that you're coming up out with the trio, or the past gigs, live gigs, out for release possibly? And also, if you want to talk about your upcoming gigs as well.
Oh, you mean, am I going to put the anything out on the internet?
or a release, a live version of like Changes 2 or
Oh, well, you know, no, not in the short term anyway. I mean, in an ideal world, I would take the band that I had at the Union Chapel, which was like 8 or 9 of us on stage, and I'd take that out and do a tour. But it's at this time, it's just not possible to do that. It's not economically viable, because it basically that show was an investment from my side.
Oh yeah.
Even though it was well attended, it's like just everything that went into it. And I'm not playing, if I could play Union Chapel size venues everywhere I went, then it would make sense. But I don't really have that reputation as a live artist yet.
yeah.
People, I think people still, with these gigs, I think some people are saying, well, I know who Mike Lindup is when he's in the context of Level 42. But what would be a Mike Lindup gig when he isn't, especially with the trio, and what material is going to do and what's the vibe. So really, these 5 shows, it's the first time I've done it with Yolanda and John as a trio. I will be bringing my laptop for a bit of, extra
Back up.
fairy dust and assistance and so on and flavor. But some of the songs will just be the trio. So it'll be kind of like a sort of stripped back, unplugged version of songs. But I hope that doing these 5 shows, I can establish something that I can then take forward into the next couple of years and get more bookings with, knowing kind of what it is as an animal, in terms of promoters saying, well, what will I be getting? How can I attract people? Then, there'll be some clips that I can give them and that sort of thing. And I'll have a more sense of what it is that I'm doing.
I have to say, Mike, the stripped down part. Sorry, Mikey. Uh, Anybody with any curiosity about this should go watch Mike when he did the Giles Peterson Rhodes music thing with Yolanda and John, because first of all, the sound quality is amazing. But it's so great to hear you guys like that. Like it's really interesting, and I would love to see that show. I really would. It's so good.
Now you're going to be at the 606 Club and Milton Keynes, Newcastle, uh, Paris, and I think I'm missing one in there somewhere.
Yeah, Brighton. Right,
Brighton,
so I'm at the
Brighton.
606. So let me read out the date. So it's the 606 on the 4th of December. That's the first date. And then the day after, I'm at the Verdict in Brighton, run by my very good friend Tristan Banks, drummer extraordinaire. And then there's a couple of days gap. And then on the 8th of December, I'm at New Morning in Paris. Looking forward to, obviously, going across the water. I played there with Dominic, I think, years ago once.
Mm.
And the day after New Morning, whizzing back to Milton Keynes to play at the Stables in Wavendon, which John Dankworth and Cleo Lane set up years ago. And I'll be thinking of them a lot, particularly Cleo. She kind of passed recently.
Oh.
And she was my godmother. And then finally at the Pilgrim in Newcastle on the 10th. So it's great to actually be playing out of London for a change. And I want to go to other parts of the UK. I'd love to come and play Holland, and Germany and Scandinavia and places like that. But I've got to go step by step and sort of build up and create this thing.
And it's going to be stuff from Changes 2 on the 1 EP, Conversations with
Yes.
Silence, and some level tunes as well.
Rob, yeah, probably not Conversations because that's more of acoustic piano thing. And that's
Mikey
more of a
over here
solo
trying to
thing.
slip some new stuff in for you.
Yeah, well, I do actually have a piano album, and in my head that's been wanting to be given birth to at some point when I get a break, and I find the right piano, which I might have done the other day. I met someone who's apparently got an amazing piano. But yeah, so on the gig, it's going to be songs from Changes 2, from Changes, from On the 1. I'll be, a few choice Level 42 songs, similar to what I did at Union Chapel. but kind of reinterpreted as a trio, and then and a couple of covers as well that I kind of really relate to. So that's going to be the program.
Well, I'm gonna be cheeky and see if I can implant the idea of nothing more to say in that set list.
Wow, that's a good idea, Mike.
Only if you attend the shows, all five.
Oh,
Right.
I would if I could.
So I would say for folks listening or watching this episode will be out well before the Mike Lindup Trio starts. So we'll have links to all the venues and dates and where you can buy tickets. So that'll be good. So is your setup for the trio shows going to be the Rhodes and laptop, or what's it actually going to be?
It'll be the Rhodes. It'll be my sequential Prophet Rev 2
Mhm.
on top of it, just the two keyboards and the
Oh, cool.
laptop. And then Yolanda's amazing musicianship, and and John's groove, and I think we can have fun. I'm looking forward to sort of a few gigs in when we sort of know what we're doing and we can start to really play with it. That's going to be an organic process, as it were.
I wanted to ask you, Mike, about, you know, in you doing your, I don't know if we should call them solo or trio shows, but what's your comfort level in being a band leader, kind of, when you've been part of Level 42 for so long, you're part of a larger thing, and I guess Mark could be the boss sometimes, but for you, this is your baby. Is there a growth period and an involvement for you in this, like, or to give direction? How does it work for you?
Oh, that's very apt, because it's exactly that. I mean, when it's your show, you've got to wear all the hats. So just make creative choices, logistical choices, musical choices, and then you kind of got to make sure that you're on point yourself. I mean, I've just been running through some of the songs and realized, I don't know all the words. I can't play all the parts yet. They're there or thereabouts, but I really need to do some work. And then when you're performing them, you've got to really know it so well to be able to then really kind of not have to think about, oh, is it an A or a B, the next chord? Oh shit,
Right.
you kind of want to be past that, and there, that is part of the process too. But yeah, it's a big responsibility. And I've had the luxury of being in a band where I didn't have to have all the responsibility. I mean, Mark effectively manages and runs the band now, so a lot of the decisions he makes, I don't have to make. I can just sort of turn up and play. To some extent, I'm involved in some of the conversation, but not everything. But in the solo thing, yeah, it's going to be everything, including carrying my own, putting up my own instruments, carrying, driving them in my own car, figuring out parking, load in, load out, all of that stuff that we have crew for in Level 42.
Yeah, what I was getting at was like with the musicians in the band. Do you give hey Yolanda, maybe not so much here, or a little bit more here, or John, slowed us down, stuff like that? I don't know.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm going to be right on top of that, because I have a vision in my mind of how I want it to sound and how I want it to feel. With certain songs, it's like we'll explore it together in the rehearsals, but with other things, it's like, no, it's got to be like this, or it's definitely got to click like that. I was even thinking about doing the whole thing without a laptop, doing it just as the Giles Unplugged session.
Wow.
And then John Sam, the drummer, said to me, kind of be good to have the laptop for certain things. And thinking about it, I'm thinking, yes, he's right, because there are obviously flavors, particularly in Changes too. It kind of would be handy if, like, for example, I want a solo in the middle of Time to Let Go, because I won't have Alex on guitar on this show. It would be me doing it. Or at the end of Spirit is Free or whatever. It would be good to maybe have a bit of stuff going on that is supporting the chords, so I can sort of do that.
Go off.
So we'll see.
Yeah, Mike, I'm going to change gears just a little bit and talk and ask you a couple of small questions about the videos that you filmed with Level 42 back in the day.
Oh
The first,
yes.
the first thing is the running in the family video. Kind of reminds me of the Dutch artist Piet Mondrian, I think, in the style of that. I didn't know
Yeah.
if that was the vision of that video.
Yeah, it may have been. I mean, wasn't involved in the kind of the concept conversations that came along. Again, I was kind of like, oh, this is what we're doing. We're turning up. We had to do some obviously pre-production because we had to do a photo session with the clothes that we wore on the video so that we could get the cardboard cutouts on the actual video shoot with us in the same clothes. So there was some obviously forethought went into that. And yeah, the whole kind of the squares with the primary colors and then the turning thing. I mean, yes, I mean now you say Mondrian, I can see it completely, and that might have been the artistic director's mind. I mean, it would have been someone working at Polydor at the time,
Hmm.
but I wasn't a party to those conversations. But it was a fun video to make.
Did you get dizzy going round and round on that after a while?
Well, there was a bit of that. There was a bit of kind of like, oh, is it moving? You know, stepping off and on the bit that was moving, the bit that was, you know, I mean, there's a couple of bits I think you can see in the video that they left in, like Boone is kind of, you know, gets a bit wobbly, sort of stepping.
Yeah.
Uh, I wanted in the overtime video, you played kind of a very strong management person and take care of yourself, which is one of the greatest, funniest videos I've ever seen, I think. Did you enjoy making the videos, and what was your process? You're a pop band and you're being asked to sort of act and things. How did you go about doing that?
Well, I think the first time that happened really was, I mean, to a certain extent, the Weave Your Spell video, there was a little bit of acting, but it was
Yeah.
really the Something About You video that called, you know, out our, you know, our feeble innate acting talent because it felt like a real sort of production, and also, you know, we didn't have a girl who was an actor or a model. We had Sherry Lungi, who was a proper actor.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say actor before, but yeah, I mean Sherry had just finished filming The Mission with Robert De Niro and Jeremy Irons in Brazil. You know, and I'm thinking she's just been acting with De Niro, and now I've got to pretend to be, you know, this sort of highly strung composer and do my scenes with her. But of course, she was great because she sort of brought out, if you like, the gravitas in us, and that was a lot of fun to make. And in fact, give me a second.
Sure.
You know, it's like
Oh wow.
I took my
Oh,
camera to the video shoot,
yeah.
so I got stills from the Something About You
No kidding.
video.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So that's obviously in the carriage where we were doing the,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
the beginning scenes where Mark's looking at each of us and
Right.
kind of fantasizing on what we're going to do, you know, who we are.
Right.
Uh,
I'll ask a dumb question. Was that train moving or was it still the entire time?
oh God, no, it was moving. It was on a Hampshire sort of private line. It was a steam train actually,
Okay.
and we were going up and down this line doing the filming. Oops, there we go. That's at Waterloo Station. That's the scene at the end.
At the end.
right at the
Oh,
end of the
yeah.
video.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And where we go?
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
Can't really see it very well, but
Yeah, but that's amazing. You got to put that stuff online.
so I will do it. Yeah, and there's of course
Ah,
Boone
the
and his
car.
beloved.
Boone probably wanted to leave with that car.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. It was really up his street. Yeah, there's Phil in the artist scene.
Do you recall Mike seeing the video for the first time after it was done and having any kind of reaction to it?
Ran
Oh
it.
yeah, I mean it looked like $1 million. That's the steam train. That was what was pulling us up and down the track.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it looked amazing because you know Stuart Orme, who directed it,
Yeah.
you know, he's a proper drama director.
Yeah.
And so it was like professional. It was a 3-day shoot, in different locations. So yeah, I mean, I can't remember the feeling the first time I saw it, but I think I would have felt that it was kind of wonderful, and also, there was some mystery to it, which I think has really stood the test of time.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you a sort of a complete storyline, and you sort of know what happens, because it's like, as I remember, one of the guys from Polygram US, when we were over there, when we were talking about the next single, and doing Leaving Me Now and making a video, because he'd said previously, who's the clown figure? He didn't understand, the reference to, Mark and that film, The Entertainer,
Right.
where Laurence Olivier was playing, I forget the name of the
Harry
comedian,
Rice.
but I think so. It was one of those old time comedians that, the whole thing of like, putting the grease paint on and smiling and doing the show, and then what happens backstage. And so it was kind of, people had to sort of figure out or make their own idea of what all this was going on with this, Mark character and us and so on, and why was he laughing when things were going wrong, and why was he sad when we seemed to be making up with Jerry and so on. And then how's that related to the guy being taken with these two heavies, obviously in handcuffs or whatever.
Yeah.
So this guy was going, yeah, who's the clown figure? And then by the time he got to the Leave Me Now videos, it was like, of course, There's Something About You had been a hit. So it's like, make sure you put the clown in the next video, which is why you see Mark at the beginning of Leaving Me Now taking off the grease paint and doing all that. That was literally a record company request to sort of make a link between those two videos. But then, of course, they spoiled it by putting hot water on the
Don't get
American
me started
version of
with
World
that.
Machine.
I hate the American version.
I love the American.
Well, it was crazy. It was just this whole thing of like, well, you guys are giving us a problem because we can't put you into a box. Are you an R&B band? Are you an A&R AOR band? What are you? How can you do this and then you change style completely? It really mucks up our our promotion, and it's like, hey, this is what we do.
So, guys, how long have we had like online communications, even going back to bulletin boards about Level 42, like into the mid 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the question has always come up, Mike, is what is Mark saying at the end of the video?
That always made me laugh, because I'm thinking, well, if you're singing the song as you watch the video, you know what he's saying.
Yeah,
because it's the lyric of the song.
But it's not at the same time as
that was one of the that was one of the biggest questions about videos. The other one was the Children Say video, everyone thinking the girl was your daughter.
Yes.
Or sister.
Oh, really?
Yes. That was a big question that came up every week. I'm assuming
I never saw that.
Yeah,
I could have had fun with that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Yeah. No, I never really saw that. Okay, well, so I mean, should I bust the mystery, or should I not?
No, I think you should bust the mystery. I think you should. Go ahead.
Maybe enough time has passed. It's 40 years, obviously, since the album. Yeah. So what it is, it's him out of sync, singing "We're Only Human After All."
That's what we thought. Yeah.
We're only human after all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he sort of tilts his head at the end. But of course, it's put in a part where there's no vocal going.
Yep. That's what I think. That's what we all assume. We hired a lip reader, and
really okay.
Well, next time someone asks us, we'll tell them that you're saying "see you at the bar" instead.
And then on the Children Say video, which was a lot of fun to make. I mean, yes, she was the daughter of one of the French film crew, I think, or production crew. Mm-hmm. Either the daughter or the niece, maybe the niece. Mm-hmm. But in no way related to me. But she was she was great. You know, she was obviously very cute, in the sense of, you know, really lovable, but just really animated, and just got right into, you know, doing all the kind of fun stuff that she does on the video. I mean, that was a great fun video to make because, you know, we were in the on the subway, you know, being basically doing a promo video, you know, in front of the general public. I mean, they're not extras in the background; they're just people. And
People, yeah.
Yeah.
That video, it makes me smile so much every time I see it. It's just like seems like everyone was having a well, it's a great song too, but
Yeah.
everyone seems to be having such a good time, and it, you know, nice and lively.
absolutely. I mean, you know, up until probably the only dodgy bit was the bit where the police came and tried to stop us filming in the market. You know, which the cameraman was very clever in kind of getting that on camera before the police said, "Put your cameras away," and then it was the whole kind of sneaky sort of, "I'll still shoot but pretend I'm not" kind of thing. But that was the thing where it's like, you know, where's your permit to film here? And but yeah, it was great to do.
You know what was great about that was that video was the first one without the Goulds, and I think it was a sign to fans that, hey, these guys aren't going anywhere. You know, it was part of the same album, but it was like, oh, they're not packing it in. They're still going.
You know, I mean, you know, there was that as well because it was quite soon after, you know, Phil had gone and, you know, Boone had gone earlier, so it kind of felt strange to just be the two of us. So we was still getting used to that, and so there was probably, you know, there was a kind of tinge of sadness that Phil particularly wasn't a part of it. But on the other hand, you know, he had chosen to leave the band, and we definitely wanted to carry on. And probably if Phil and Boone had been in the band, it would have been a very different sort of video. You know, probably more of a traditional video with, you know, you would have seen the drums in it, and
yeah.
you know, whereas we had complete freedom to just, you know, go and have fun in Paris, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, you just showed us some incredible photos and things, and I know on one of your recent posts, I think right before the World Machine Tour started this year, you had some other photos you showed and some old audio as well, and we just spoke to Phil recently too, and he had some audio stuff from I think 85 and also prior to that down to 1980, I think he's or 81. Is there a chance that some of this material might come out officially, maybe?
Probably not, to be honest. It's more of a personal collection. I don't know if there would be any, you know, obviously for the diehards, I know they would really appreciate it, but I can't imagine that we'd sort of do it as a commercial release at this time. But maybe, I mean, I've said this before, I've got about 85 hours of camcorder footage
Oh,
from around 1986 to, well, until I got my first digital camcorder, you know, up until Pete joining, basically. So I have documented the whole journey from, you know, the kind of height of the band with Phil and Boone, and then, you know, them leaving and Paul Gedler coming in and Neil Conti coming in, and then Alan Murphy and Gary joining the band and going on the road, and all of those tours we did in the late 80s. So I want to, at some stage, because a friend of mine is digitizing, because it's all analog, so it has to be digitized. Yeah. And like I say, it's a lot of footage, and most of it is, you know, it's not us on stage basically playing. It's all the other stuff. It's all the traveling, lots of, you know, shots of the Autobahn, you know,
yeah.
me with the camcorder doing what all the classic things you shouldn't do, like, you know, zooming in and out, autofocus, auto iris, you know, all the things that the filmmakers on YouTube say, you know, which I kind of got to. But, you know, there's obviously a value in that. And one day I really would like to put that out in some form, you know, as a kind of documentary. And there may be an opportunity to, you know, maybe have some clips from these sort
Yeah.
of tapes that we got. I mean, that like with YouTube, you can't, the copyright of the actual recordings belongs to Universal.
Yeah.
So, I'm not free to use that. I mean, for example, I've got footage of the It's Over video shoot in Mammoth Mountain,
Mhm.
which was, an amazing occasion, mainly because it was middle of June and it was so cold up there. It
Yeah.
looks like
Looks
summer,
nice and warm.
but
Yeah.
but we had kind of sort of space blankets and coffee, and as soon as every take was done, because it was just so cold up there. But I've got film, I've got wobbly footage of that, and I would love to sort of put that out, but I can't use the actual track because there's like shots of Mark sitting on that tree stump with that amazing view behind him.
Yeah.
Right.
And then on my camcorder footage, you can see the dolly track, and you can see the sort of cameraman and the director sort of coming along and sort of panning past Mark, and then cut, and then of course it stops and all of that. Which I'm sure people would love to see. So I was figuring out, how can I do that? I might have to actually replace the actual song with a kind of a pianistic rendition or something that I've kind of made up to sort of simulate what happened there.
So Stuart Copeland, he had made same exact situation. He had 5 years of home movies, basically, turned it into a documentary where he put his own versions of songs. He called them derangements, and it was at Cannes. I mean, big DVD release. So it's something that can be done. I personally am raising my hand to edit this footage right now. Thank you.
It's gonna need a lot of editing,
It's all right.
and a lot of killing your darlings, I would think.
Now, I also, oh, go ahead, Winston.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I have a lot of behind the scenes photos of quite a few video shoots, including the one you just mentioned, and which I guess were made available when those 2000 dual CD releases were happening. So if you would like copies of those, I'll send them along. Because they're pretty cool. A lot of them, a lot of shots that weren't in the video.
I'd love to see that.
There's some really cool fisheye lens shots of Boone playing guitar leaning against a tree. So I'll send those over to you.
Oh, that would be grand. Thank you.
There's an upcoming another box set coming out from Cherry Red Records, hopefully soon. There's been 3 great box sets already, and I know this upcoming box set's probably going to cover the Retroglide and Sirens kind of era.
Yeah.
2 quick questions I wanted to ask you, Mike, to settle some debates among some friends of ours. The Sirens EP was just an EP of songs. Was there actual more like, I've heard that there was like 14 to 20 songs during the Sirens recording. Is that true?
No.
No. Thank you for settling that.
Not. I don't remember any other material. I mean, there may have been. We did have an attempt at recording, writing an album, or at least rehearsing, shortly after Pete joined. And there were 3 or 4 tracks knocking about that we were working on, but they never ended up being finished. And that kind of got shelved. And the Sirens material happened after that. We were working on some other tracks prior to Sirens, but we certainly, on the Sirens project, we were just working on those tracks that you hear pretty much.
Yeah. And the last question is, and I didn't know this until I spoke to Keith Riley recently, and he said that during the Guaranteed tour that you guys actually were going to play My Father's Shoes live, and you'd rehearsed it live, but it wasn't played live. Is that true?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Okay.
It's possible. I mean, it was a single,
Yeah.
so it kind of would have made sense that we would have played it, but I can't remember the actual order in terms of timings of when My Father's Shoes came out, as opposed to when the album was out and when the tour was out.
Mm.
So it obviously would have made sense to play it as the current single if that had been out at the time that we were touring, which I don't know if it was. Um, I know that that wasn't such an easy time for us because of the whole divorce with Polydor,
Right.
and there was a kind of uh, it also coincided with the fact that we were playing some of the large venues and halls that we'd played previously and filled, and obviously artists don't like to talk about this, but not every gig was as well sold as maybe the last time we were around. So it was kind of quite hard to bear, along with the fact that we'd sort of managed to rescue the Guaranteed album, which we'd invested a lot in, and got BMG RCA to release it and so on, which was great. But it kind of left its scars, that whole
Yeah.
questioning of our artistic ability and our ability as composers and album makers. Them saying this isn't a commercial release, it doesn't have what's required, maybe you need to get some other writers in. That was really not easy stuff to hear. And then when we were about to go to the High Court, reading affidavits from so-called industry experts dissing the album on behalf of Polydor to sort of strengthen their case and so on. So it wasn't an easy time.
My
Uh,
gosh.
it's well, they're all my favorite albums, but that one's special to me. Because I got sent a promo copy of that when I was in Saudi Arabia from Paul Crockford, and so I got to hear it about a month before it came out, and it really that and I got your Changes CD at the same time, which I had never heard. So I'm on my rooftop in Saudi Arabia listening to the Guaranteed album and Changes for the first
Oh wow.
time, and it was
I
just
didn't know you were in
incredible.
Saudi Arabia.
Yes, you do. And
Oddly enough, we were both there.
we were both there, just not at the same time. And Mike, the last question I have for you is there any tunes that you have not played live yet that you want to play live?
Oh, we might be sticking the cat among the pigeons with that question. uh, Gosh, I mean,
Besides Return of the Handsome Rugged Man, right?
Of course, of course.
well, yeah, that'd be good to play. I mean, another one that's one of my favorite B-sides is at This Great Distance.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
yes. That's
yeah,
marvelous.
with the, I mean, it would probably be difficult to do because that whole kind of voiceover thing that Mark does kind of needs that kind of close mic, big sound thing. And I don't know if that would really work live, but musically, it's one of my favorite tracks that we've done. And it kind of, I think Phil referred to it recently as, Level 42 were more than one band. And it definitely, kind of that sort of whole Mahavishnu
Yeah.
jazz fusion
Yeah.
influence really comes out in that track. And I think I did some of my best work on keyboards on it. So that's definitely one that I'd love to play live.
Gary Husband's drums in that is awesome too. Um,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Jacko's on guitar as well, and does some
Yep.
great stuff on guitar.
Yeah, and that's like the tune as years go by. Uh, I again, I heard that on the My Father's Shoes single, and of course I'm biased, but I was. It seems sometimes the B sides, I was like, these should have been lead singles. Why?
mhm.
That tune I must have played probably 20 times in a row, over and over and over the day that I got it. It
Mm.
was one of those tunes that just, as a tune does, it hits you a certain way, and you're just like, this is brilliant.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Sirens because this week I was listening to the live version of Sirens, the song. And that to me that could have been 1981, that song, as far as I'm concerned. I think there's a little bit of slagging among some of the fans about that album. I actually really like it, but that song in particular was really strong. And when we talk about doing kind of the spoken word thing, on the Nathan has done that. He did the spoken word part in
Yeah,
Sirens, and I don't know
yeah,
how he plays that and talks at the same time. It's pretty wild. I was like, that's like, what's with these kings that they could do anything and rub the tummy and pat the head.
yeah,
But um,
It's
yeah.
funny.
But Mike, one of the other things I wanted to ask you about was where do you see the band right now? I mean, this was first of all you got a show tonight in Coventry, you got a show in Derby, then you go to Dubai, which is crazy, like for like a day, and then it's kind of over for the this tour. Uh,
Yeah.
Looking ahead for the band, do you see? Obviously, it's Mark's decision at the end of the day, but can you see more album focused tours or anything different, or just we don't know?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it's kind of like uh, it's another template that we've created by doing this 40th World Machine album. So, it's completely possible to sort of, do. I mean, we kind of did it before, but to do a World Machine or a Staring at the Sun album tour, as it were, as a theme.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I mean, we're lucky to have so many albums, worth of material that we can always do something different. Obviously there's certain songs that we have to play, which is probably about half the set.
Yeah.
And I think there was one tour we did a few years ago where we didn't play Running in the Family, and Mark got a few complaints about that. So, um, but yeah, we can do something. We can definitely do something different in terms of sets or like the album tour
Hmm.
concept again. I mean, it's probably too soon to be talking about it now as we're coming to the end of this
Yeah.
album tour, to be thinking about what's going to happen in 2 years' time. But yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Is the band like particularly close now after like spending a few months together? Like, um, or is it, oh my gosh, I've seen enough of you guys. We've been on a bus for 2 weeks straight. I'll see you later. I'll give you a call in
Yeah, it's
January.
it's right now. It's kind of more of the second, actually.
Okay, gotcha.
Great on stage, but it's kind of like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
need a bit of a break now because especially in Europe, it's 15 on a 16 sleeper bus. I
Wow.
mean, I
Yikes.
know we're talking first world problems here, but
No,
Right.
but
Yeah.
that's a lot.
it's
I
tough.
mean, none of us are any younger, right? I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, like
Wants
sometimes
your
if
space.
well, no, no, but seriously, like if I go to Florida and back, I'm like, oh, I can't believe how sore I am, or whatever, and it's one trip, but you guys are like, I don't know, it's got to be difficult. I think physically it's got to be difficult, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get easier as you get older, that's for sure. And also because it's always the way, different people have different ways of winding down. There's so much amazing energy you get after a show that you can't just get in your bunk and go to sleep like half an hour later. You're still, all that adrenaline and good energy is kind of going through you, and you sort of get second wind. And if you're not careful, well, if you want to, you can stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning, but then you pay for it the next day. So
Yeah.
I'm someone who can has figured out. I mean, it always was. I was never a kind of a carousing sort of person. It's like have a drink, maybe something to eat because you get the munchies, maybe a bit of phone scrolling on YouTube or whatever, and then go in. But then other people will still be making a racket,
All right.
and if the bus isn't traveling, then that's all can be very clear. So it's kind of it's interrupted sleep, and it's a bit of a dance. We get good food in the UK, or we're back in the UK now. We have an amazing caterer
Hmm.
with us. And in fact, the food in Europe was very good. The promoters really did well this time because, we were sort of joking about, oh, we go to certain countries and it's ham or cheese or salty soup. But actually, it was really quite good, the food. And an army does march on its stomach. It really does make a difference to how you feel. And if you haven't got enough sleep, at least, you can have a power nap, or if we got the bus here, you can go in your bunk in the afternoon when it's quiet and stuff.
Right.
So there's a lot of management sort of going on with that.
Yeah. Well, I think the fans should definitely appreciate it. I mean, you guys are still doing this for 40 years since that album, 45 years since you started. And I mean, how lucky are we that you guys are still doing this?
Very.
Even if it's not the US.
Well,
Yeah,
I feel very lucky that people still want to come and see us, and we're selling out shows, having not done that, having extra shows on, which we've not done since the late 80s, is just, I think, a testament to the power of live music and, songs which have stood the test of time, and the fact that we can still sing and play well, we're very lucky.
Yeah.
so I have a question that's going to take you way back in time to the early days, early tapes and early touring. I was wondering, and I meant to query Phil about this when we spoke to him last time. Leroy Williams, who played percussion with you guys, I know he played on the early
Yeah.
tapes. He played some live. Does anyone know what became of him? Because I haven't heard anything.
It's a mystery. He seems to have disappeared. I've spoken to a couple of people over the years that knew him mutually,
Mhm.
and no one seems to know where he is. Yeah, I mean, he played on the early tapes. He also played on the Level 42 album.
Right.
I don't know if he played on Pursuit, but he was certainly on the tour up until probably 84. I think he was on the tour 81, 82, 83
Yes.
as part of our live thing. So yeah, no, I don't know what has become of him. And I mean, if anyone does know, it would be interesting to hear.
Yeah, because I had seen him, well, not seen him, but know he played with one of those early bands, High Tension, and quite a few other
Yeah.
bands. So it's like, oh wow, what happened? But there's also an American drummer named Leroy Williams, so it gets confusing.
Okay.
If you do a search, you'll come up with, oh, the American jazz drummer, but he's a
Yeah.
different gentleman. Another question: the show in Dubai, is that just a continuation of this tour, or is that going to be a sort of different set list?
It will be a different set. We will be playing our kind of 90-minute festival long set,
Oh,
Gotcha.
cool.
Okay. So
which
I
is
saw a couple of people asking about that.
That's a great
Yeah.
question.
No, because we figured that there'll be more people in Dubai who won't be so familiar with the World Machine album.
Right.
We'll probably know. Yeah, I imagine a lot of people will be coming who will know a few of the Level 42 hits, if you like. So
Yes.
it makes sense for us to play a more kind of Level 42 hits over the years set, which we've been doing at festivals, these last couple of years. They'll get a full show and they'll get some great tunes, but it's going to be more of the sort of kind of upbeat.
Right.
Right.
Have you seen this place, the Blah Blah? It's party central.
Well, Level 42, I believe, played there when I wasn't in the band, when Lyndon was in the band in the early 2000s.
Okay.
I've never been to Dubai, so I'm going to be interested to have a look. Although, we're arriving basically at midnight on the day of the show and then leaving the next day, so there's not going to be
not a lot
much
of time for
to
sightseeing.
sightsee, and there'll be a bit of jet lag perhaps involved. I don't know, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see it. I know it's going to be hot, and we're playing outdoors.
Yeah.
We're playing at night, but it'll still be warm, so that'll be nice. I mean, I do like some kind of tropical style heat because it's in the blood.
Yeah.
Your trio set list, is that solidified?
No. I've
Okay.
given Yolanda and John a list of what will probably be the songs in the set, but not in the set running order, plus a few extra options that I just want to test out and see, what's coming together, and then make a sort of final choice, probably on the last day of rehearsals. What's this question leading to, Winston? I can tell you're
He's
leading
got nothing more
something.
to say on this matter.
I don't know what you're referencing, Mikey. It's dangerous to say Mikey here because everyone has Mike in their name.
Right.
I was thinking, well, I had a conversation with guys that I was in the Air Force with, and we had a band, we played Level 42 stuff, and they were like, hey, what you guys been listening to lately? And I wasn't stressed about having surgery at all until like the day before. But it hit me like, yeah, they're going to be cutting you open, So I started listening to Atlantia like over and over and over again, and it just, first of all, it takes me back to, it feels like a Star Child type early Level 42 song to me. And it just put me in a
Thank you.
really good mindset where I wasn't stressed at all. And then I was thinking, I wonder if that's something that might possibly pop up. Uh, but I don't know how that would work in a trio setting. I was just curious.
You mean Atlantia?
Yes.
Well, I am going to play Atlantia.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Awesome.
I have to play it. You know, it's one of the strongest songs
Yeah.
on Changes 2, which is why it's the first song on the album.
Yep. It's a flagship.
I will be using the laptop on it as well, so there'll be some of the additional keys and maybe the vocals. I'm going to test it out. You know, I mean, it's part of me thinks, well, it's cheating to sort of stick all the stuff that was on the album when there's only three of you. On the other hand, it's like everyone knows how it works these days. Everyone's doing
Yeah.
it. People are going out with their laptop and guitar, and people accept that, you know, they hear things that they can't see. So,
Yeah.
you know, what's the problem with that?
You're 40 something years of muso, Mike. You've earned it, you know. I mean, you're not fooling it. Like we know you're the real deal, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it will probably be the opening number of the show, or at least one of the sets, you know, because some
Awesome.
venues want us to do two sets. So it will kick off either the beginning of the show or the second set. And so, yeah, and it kind of wants to come in with the bang, as it were, and be followed by Time to Let Go. So most probably, I mean, that part of the running order is set.
Awesome. Yeah, I just musically I love that song and lyrically I love it just as much. So it like it speaks to me and it like I said, it just put me in a good state of mind before I, you know,
Uh,
went under.
I'm really touched to hear that. That I'm happy that I could, you know, be part of a pre-op.
Yes.
The
bill is in the mail.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You never. I mean, I just say you never know when you write a song what people are going to do with it, and it's just amazing to hear that
Yeah.
kind of helps you through a difficult time. It's always great to hear that people have really good memories with songs, or songs have helped them through something, because you're just not considering that. You're just trying to express yourself as an artist, and you know, do something that's worthy, and but you never know. You know, people make their own things with the songs, and that's what's great about them. They're not your property anymore.
Yeah.
I'm excited about you playing cover songs because I have a feeling I could pick two artists you might play, and both of them would really excite me. And if I have it wrong, you could tell me. But either Stevie Wonder or Sting.
Well, I did have a Stevie Wonder on my provisional list,
Okay.
and I had a Herbie Hancock tune also on there.
Okay.
However, unfortunately, I haven't got time to do all of them because then I have to leave out some of my stuff which I
Right.
want to play,
Right.
Yeah.
or some of the level tunes which I know that, you know, I'd like to play and other people want to hear. So I can't play everything that I'd like, and plus, you know, it means us learning, you know, too many tunes that we've got the time to do. So, but certainly for future shows, I can sort of put things in and change up the set a bit so it's not exactly the same show.
Hmm.
But you know, definitely Stevie and Herbie are two of my biggest heroes, and I did the, you know, the cover of George Benson's version of Nature Boy.
That's
on
right.
The Giles session.
Yeah, that was great.
Which was really great to do, and it's one of my favorite songs. You know, I've always loved that song, and I kind of feel like he's singing about me, you know, when I heard it the first time, because I feel like I'm really in touch with nature, and
Right.
that's sort of a bit like my character, so it feels semi-autobiographical. Sting, well, that's a good thing. I actually did do a Sting song when I did the Pizza Express show with Alex Wilson.
That's
in
right.
the summer,
Right.
and we did a couple of Sting songs. I think we did 7 Days.
Oh, that's a great
Which
song.
was great fun to do,
Yeah,
because I'd done that with Dominic in the April tour when I was on there with him, and he had some guest artists in 2 or 3 of the locations, and we did 7 days. We did it with a vocalist, and we did it with a amazing harmonica player.
Yeah.
And that's a great fun song to
I
do.
love that song. It's a great song. Well, Mike, we don't want to keep you too much longer. We know you got catering to get to, maybe 20-minute nap before your show. But we are just so delighted that you were able to join us, and we're so happy that you've had a great tour, that you're happy and healthy. You got some great. Do we call it a solo or trio shows? What do you want to call it?
Well, it's Mike Lindup Trio, so
Okay.
it's mainly my solo stuff, but
Right.
it's in a trio format. So
Right.
yeah,
And the dates again for that, folks, you gotta go. You have to. This is like, how lucky are we to get like this kind of intimate setting? December 4th, 606 Club, December 5th, Verdict in Brighton, December 8th, New Morning, Paris, France. The Stables on December 9th, the Milton Keynes. I can't believe this schedule. And then up in Newcastle at Pilgrim on December 10th. By the way, I checked out the Pilgrim show, and it's already got a note saying only a few tickets are available. So people,
Yay.
yeah, so people you gotta get them while you can. Mike, thank you so much for being here. And
Yes,
next
thank you.
time
Yes.
we'll get the keyboard going, hopefully.
yeah. We'll have to figure that out, because I can hear it, but you can't. It is such a shame.
Thanks again, Mike.
I can't even finish off with a bit of Handsome Rugged Man, Winston. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah. I'll blame Bob again.
It is my fault. All right, guys. Well, for Winston Walker, Mikey, She Cried Her Pain, I'm Bob Considine. We're leaving you now, but we'll wait till you return. See you next time, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye,
bye, you guys.
But it's time to turn it on whenever you can turn it on. You know that you